I wanted to share an update on something we've been cooking up to begin addressing the piles of doubloons filling your pirate.
And that's the thing. It isn't actually about the doubloons, whether it be 100 or 100,000, it's about why they're going away in the first place. Because if you've been sailing the seas as long as I have, you start to realize that this isn't just a one-off update, it's part of a much larger, more consistent pattern. Hello guys, Fuzzy here. As all you know by now, Rare has announced the reset of our doubloons. Now, before we get into the why and the how, I want to clarify something right up front. Personally, I couldn't care less about the doubloons. Mine have been sitting in my inventory for years with absolutely nothing to spend them on, just like yours. But the real problem lies beyond the currency itself. Something is happening that many might not realize yet. A specific way that changes are being delivered to us. And I want to address why this doubloon reset represents a much larger concern for the future of Sea of Thieves, where we might all get conned. Again, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's address the natural progression of feedback. To understand Rare's current decisions, we have to look back at the beginning. When you spend years playing this game, your perspective shifts. Criticism isn't born out of negativity, it's born out of experience. You start seeing these patterns, you see changes that lead to wishes, and those wishes become the feedback we send to the developers. It's the natural progression of any live service game. Nothing's perfect, and we all want the best possible gaming experience. However, while no company can listen to every single voice, the specific way these changes are being delivered to us needs to be examined with a bit of confidence and clarity. My issue isn't the reset itself, it's the logic used to justify it. We are often told that something is being removed or changed for the greater good, but when we look at the historical data, that greater good rarely arrives as promised. Allow me to explain, and let's look at the facts. The removal of captaincy voyages. We were told these were being removed to support the new diving mechanic. The result, while diving is fast, it has contributed to a feeling of empty servers and a loss of the organic journey across the map. The adventures, these were marked as mini time-limited tall tales to keep the world evolving. Today, they've mainly been scrapped, leaving several major storylines unfinished and a permanent gap in the game's lore, especially for players returning. The transformation of Golden Sands. We were told that saving the outpost and turning it into Port Merrick would be a massive upgrade. Instead, we received a location that caused performance drops, created complex navigation hurdles for new players, and let's be honest, is frequently a ghost town. The Act 2 excuse. Remember when Rare announced that each season will be split into 3 acts, specifically Act 2 being less in content, trimmed to focus on server stability every second of the month of each season. Yet, the community continues to report that stability is at an all-time low, so we got less content, but we never got better servers. The Arena. Of course, everyone knows Arena. This was scrapped to focus on more frequent updates and to allocate these resources toward greater stability. At this point, it feels like the boy who cried wolf. Then there's the question of who actually pays the price for these changes. And this is what I call the cost of dedication. Those who stayed on top of the leaderboards and earned those emissary rewards for years were essentially told that their work was done. Because new players now have 2 years of rewards to catch up on, Rare has stopped creating new ones. The dedicated player who is still here is now simply staring at an empty ledger board. We saw the same thing with captaincy milestones. At launch, these were a massive dedicated grind. Then, Rare nerfed the difficulty by more than half. While that's great for a new player, it makes the most dedicated sailors feel like they spent twice the time they should have for the exact same result. Their time was essentially devalued. Captaincy was possibly Rare's most successful update in Season 7, and in my 7 years of creating content for this game, it was the only time ever a developer from Sea of Thieves came to my chat to ask if I was enjoying the update. That visit shows confidence, but this update was scrapped 3 seasons later due to diving. And now, because these same people have a lot of doubloons, a currency Rare ignored for 5 years while simultaneously making it a recurring renown reward, the ones most dedicated to the game are being blamed for having too much of it. And this is where we get to the weight of unfulfilled promises. I could keep going, but the point is the pattern itself. Every controversial change comes with a promised payoff, but that payoff often fails to materialize. Take clothing presets, for example. This was a highly requested feature that Rare stated was in development back in August of 2022. By 2023, we were told there were technical challenges. Since then, silence. No updates, no progress. For a cosmetic-based game with horizontal progression, you would think this feature specifically should have launched with the game. And here we are 8 years later. So my concern regarding the Doubloon Reset isn't why are you doing this? My problem is, what do we actually get after? Will it be a temporary promise followed by a 15-minute deep dive video showing how amazing it is, only to be scrapped a few months later, or will it, for the first time, be a continuously maintained feature that actually fulfills a promise? My tinfoil hat theory, and as an ex-mobile game developer, the main reason doubloons are really being reset is that it will become a bridge conversion currency, something that you grind for in the game, but can also be purchased with ancient coins for whatever new features the game will bring. Because veterans who have so many doubloons, they are still a minority, so zeroing out everyone in the community for the older few doesn't fit right. And the black market coming feels like dangling carrots to get us excited by a few pixels and bright lights before the real reason for reset kicks in. But I hope I'm wrong. I am genuinely tired of being sold great ideas that result in a net loss for the player experience. At this point, I would rather be proven wrong with real tangible results than stay hopeful and be disappointed again. Facts are facts, the pattern is there, and until the pattern changes, it's hard to view a currency reset as anything other than another greater good that may never arrive. But those are my thoughts. Who cares? See you around.